We've all been there, right? Sitting in some class or training session thinking, this is fine, I guess, but am I ever actually going to use this? And then every once in a while, you get one of those amazing learning experiences where everything just clicks. It feels like the whole thing was designed just for you. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what makes that huge difference. We're going to look at the blueprint for building courses that really, truly work.
And it all starts with a super common problem, what I like to call the misfit course problem.
You know the feeling. You sign up to learn a really specific skill for your job, but instead you spend weeks on some general theory that has, nothing to do with what you do day to day. It's so frustrating, it's inefficient, and let's be honest, it's just a massive waste of time. And that feeling, it happens when there's a major disconnect between what a course is teaching and what you, the learner, actually need to succeed.
And this slide just nails it, doesn't it? The course on the left, teaching general business words, might be great for some people, but for an engineer who needs to write super specific technical reports, it completely misses the mark. You see, designing a course without understanding the learner's world is just like trying to build a house without a blueprint. Sure, you might end up with 4 walls and a roof, but it is definitely not the house the client wanted or needed, not even close.
So how do we get that blueprint? Well, the answer is a process called needs analysis. Think of this as the architect's master plan that makes sure we build the right thing for the right person every single time.
Okay, so what is needs analysis? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's a systematic investigation to figure out what a learner really needs to get done. And this isn't just a nice idea or a helpful suggestion. The research literally calls it the first and most crucial step in designing any course that works. It's the foundation. Everything else gets built on top of it.
And here is where it all becomes so practical. A good blueprint isn't about vague ideas. It's about identifying what learners actually need to do in the real world. That lets us just zero in on the exact skills they need most. And that precision, that's the whole point. For a company, it means they get a return on their training investment way faster. And for you, as an individual, it means you're getting skills that directly help your career. Suddenly, learning becomes efficient, relevant, and honestly, way more motivating.
But a good blueprint needs more than just one type of information. To design a truly fantastic course, you have to understand both the destination and the person taking the journey. And this breaks down into 2 big ideas: target needs and learning needs.
First up, we have to understand the gap that we're trying to bridge. So on one side, you've got the target situation analysis. This is the destination. What will our engineering student need to do down the road? They'll need to write complex research papers, give technical presentations. Then on the other side, we have the present situation analysis. That's their starting point. What can they do right now? The space between those 2 points, that's the exact gap the course needs to be designed to fill.
Okay, but here's the thing, and this is so important. Just knowing the start and end points isn't enough, not even close. We also have to understand the person who's making the journey. This is where learning needs come into play. Do they learn best with visuals? Are they motivated by group projects? Or do they prefer to work alone? Understanding this personal side of things is what turns a perfectly good functional course into a great, maybe even a life-changing one.
Now, I know this might sound a little complicated, but the good news is there are proven models out there to guide this whole process. So let's take a look at one of the most effective frameworks for actually creating this blueprint.
We're going to use the Hutchinson and Waters model. It's a really well-respected framework in this field, and for good reason. It gives us a super clear, structured way to analyze all these different needs logically.
So the model kicks off with target needs. And put simply, this is all about defining what success actually looks like. What does this person absolutely positively need to be able to do to be effective in their job or their academic program?
And the model breaks this down so beautifully. First, you figure out the necessities. These are the non-negotiables, the must-have skills for the job. Second, you pinpoint the lacks. That's the real measurable gap between where they are now and those necessities. And third, you consider their wants, the personal goals or the extra skills they hope to get from the course. A really amazing course is designed to hit all 3 of these layers.
So how do you figure all that out? Well, you have to become a bit of a detective. You start asking very specific questions. This isn't abstract stuff. It's investigative work. Why do they need this language skill? How exactly will they use it? Who are they going to be talking to? Customers, colleagues, their boss? The answers to these questions are the raw materials for our entire blueprint.
All right, now for the other side of the coin, the learning needs. Here, the questions get a lot more personal and practical. What's their real motivation for being here? What are their preferred learning styles? And you know what? Even the logistical stuff, like what resources are available or when the course takes place, really matters.
This part is all about tailoring the learning process itself to fit the actual person. Okay, so we know what questions to ask, but how in the world do we actually get the answers? For that, a course designer needs a kind of investigator's toolkit.
The tools are pretty varied, and each one has a different job. Questionnaires are fantastic for getting a wide range of data from a big group, but in-depth interviews, that's where you really find out the why behind their answers. Observation, actually watching someone do their job, can show you challenges they don't even know they have. And analyzing real materials, like the actual reports or emails they'll be writing, that just grounds the whole course in reality.
And this next part is just so critical. You have to talk with what the research calls domain experts. I absolutely love this quote from Gillibert. He said, "They're simply the people who actually perform the job. If you want to train someone to be a great financial analyst, guess what? You need to go talk to other financial analysts to understand what the job really demands. It's that simple and it's that powerful."
So let's bring it all back home. When you use this blueprint, when you do a proper, thorough needs analysis, you stop building generic, one-size-fits-all programs. You start building courses that truly matter.
Because that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? A great needs analysis is that architect's blueprint. It makes sure that the final product, the course itself, isn't just some generic structure, but a custom-built home, perfectly designed for the person who's going to live and work inside it.
Ultimately, when you boil it all down, that whole blueprint is really about just one person. The entire reason for this detailed process is to create a learning experience that is efficient, relevant, and motivating for that single individual, so they can go out and crush their specific goals.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you take a course or a workshop or any kind of training, ask yourself this one simple question. Was the blueprint for this made with me in mind? And the answer to that question will tell you everything you need to know about why it works or why it doesn't.